Japan is the safest country in the world, but it is also home to the strangest deaths in the entire world. We got a case of a man being stuffed into a toilet, in a space so small he couldn't have gone there by himself. We got a case of a pregnant woman being attacked in their own apartment. They attack her using a kitchen knife to cut open her belly, ripping out the baby, and instead putting a Mickey Mouse keychain inside her. These are Japan's 5 strangest deaths. Imagine walking into the bathroom at your workplace, looking down into the dark opening of a squat toilet and seeing a human shoe staring back at you. Now imagine when the police arrive, they discover a grown man wedged deep inside the microscopic U-bend of the septic pipe below. But he didn't slide in. He is crammed backward, perfectly upside down, in freezing winter weather, barefoot, and clutching his own neatly folded jacket directly to his chest. On February 28, 1989, in a tiny snow-covered village in Fukushima, a 23-year-old female elementary school teacher made this exact horrifying discovery in her staff cabin. When authorities arrived, the space was so impossibly tight that they couldn't pull the man out. They had to bring in heavy industrial excavators to completely smash the concrete structure and tear open the steel pipe just to extract his body. The victim was 26-year-old Naoyuki Kano, a well-liked, highly respected local sales manager. The police quickly ruled his death an accidental case of hypothermia, concluding he had squeezed himself inside to peep on the teacher. But the village was outraged by the ruling, because the physical geometry of the crime scene makes the official story completely impossible. The outdoor maintenance hatch where Kano supposedly entered was a mere 14 inches wide. Kano himself was 5'7", with an average shoulder width of 16 inches. He had somehow compressed the skeleton to pass through a solid opening smaller than his own frame. Even more bizarre was his posture inside the pitch-black tank. He was flat on his back, knees bent, perfectly wedged in the tight fetal position. And in that freezing, subterranean filth, he had somehow found the space to neatly fold his shirt and jacket, holding them up on his bare torso like a shield. To this day, forensic experts dispute how a human being could physically enter that pipe alive without assistance, leaving Kano's final moments trapped in the dark is one of Japan's most haunting architectural mysteries. Imagine a young husband walking into his apartment after a long day at work, hearing a newborn baby crying frantically on the living room floor and looking down to find his pregnant wife dead next to it, her abdomen crudely cut open by a killer who performed an improvised C-section. But the killer didn't take the child. They didn't steal a single yen from the apartment. Instead, they took a random plastic telephone cord and a Mickey Mouse keychain from the living room and carefully stuffed them inside the victim's body cavity before locking the door from the outside. On the afternoon of March 24, 1988, in Nagoya, this exact psychological nightmare unfolded. 27-year-old Mitsuko Moriya, who was just days away from her due date, was attacked in their own home. The assailant used a basic kitchen knife to slice her open, removing her unborn son. In an absolute miracle, the baby survived this brutal ordeal. But it's the behavior of the killer after the extraction that leaves investigators deeply disturbed. The apartment was filled with valuable electronics and cash, all left completely untouched. The killer's only focus seemed to be surreal, glitch-like compulsion. They cut the wire from the home telephone, grabbed a Mickey Mouse keychain off a desk, placed them precisely inside the mother's body, and then meticulously wiped down the crime scene. Despite an intense nationwide investigation, no fingerprints were found, no weapon was recovered, and absolutely no logical motive could ever be established. The Nagoya Ripper vanished into thin air, leaving behind a crime scene that felt less like a human act and more like a terrifying glitch in human nature. Imagine a quiet, peaceful suburban town where over the course of a single summer, 7 young people die back to back in rapid succession. The police desperately tell the public there's nothing to worry about and rule them all as simple, unrelated suicides, even though one of the teenagers was found hanging from a tree branch with his hands tightly and securely tied behind his own back. Between April and July of 1992, a wave of profound paranoia gripped the small town of Kumatori in Osaka. 7 young adults, all aged between 17 and 22, began dying in ways that defied basic physical logic. It started with a young man dying of an apparent drug overdose, followed a week later by another youth found hanging in a local forest. But as the body count grew, the physical evidence at the scene became increasingly uncanny. The third victim was found hanging, but forensic examination revealed his hands were bound behind his torso with a thick cord, a feat practically impossible to perform on oneself before losing consciousness. A few weeks later, another boy was found suspended from a high, thick branch in a fruit orchard, a branch that investigators noted was physically out of his reach to tie or jump from without a ladder. Yet no ladder or stool was ever found at the scene. The psychological climax of the case occurred when a young college student was found bleeding out from a sudden knife wound on a quiet residential street. As a passerby rushed to her side to help, she didn't scream for help or name an attacker. She locked eyes with them and whispered her final haunting words, it's different, before losing consciousness forever. The town felt cursed, plagued by rumors of a mysterious black car seen idling near the victims' homes just days before their deaths. Yet to this day, the cases remain officially closed as an impossible chain of copycat suicides. Imagine walking up to a standard vending machine on a hot summer afternoon, buying a soda and noticing that a second, unsealed bottle of a popular energy drink has been left behind the dispenser tray below. You assume the previous customer forgot their buy one, get one free promotion drink, or that the machine glitched and gave you a free bonus. You take a sip, and within days, your lungs slowly turn to solid, fibrous tissue, suffocating you from the inside out, because that free drink was laced with a lethal, untraceable dose of agricultural weed killer. In 1985, a wave of absolute terror swept across Japan's streets. An unknown killer realized a fatal flaw in the design of the nation's heavily relied upon vending machines. The bottom dispenser slots were large, hooded and hidden from direct public view. The killer began placing bottles of Oronamin C, a highly popular Japanese energy drink, into these slots. The bottles looked perfectly factory sealed, but the killer had injected them with Paraquat, a highly toxic herbicide with no known antidote. 12 complete random, unconnected citizens across the country fell into the trap. They bought a drink, saw the bonus bottle, thought they just got incredibly lucky and drank it. Because Paraquat takes days to destroy the internal organs, the victims didn't realize they had been poisoned until it was too late to save them. The absolute randomness of the crime paralyzed the nation. People stopped using vending machines entirely, and the company was forced to completely redesign its packaging to include tamper-evident caps. The killer was never caught, leaving behind a chilling reminder of how easily a mundane, everyday routine can turn completely fatal. Imagine a medical nightmare where your body is completely stripped of its ability to create new cells. Your chromosomes are entirely obliterated, meaning your skin begins to slide off your body. Your internal organs begin to liquefy, and your DNA literally dissolves. But instead of letting you pass away, advanced medical technology keeps you awake, fully conscious for 83 agonizing days, restarting your heart every single time it stops, essentially forcing you to exist as a living ghost. In September 1999, a technician named Hisashi Oichi was working at a nuclear fuel processing plant in Tokaimura. Due to a severe lack of training and safety protocols, Oichi and a coworker accidentally poured a massive overlimit of enriched uranium into a purification tank, triggering a brilliant flash of blue light, a criticality accident. Oichi was blasted with a massive dose of radiation. When he arrived at the hospital, he looked completely normal. He was talking, breathing, and only had slight swelling on his skin. But beneath the surface, the radiation had acted like a microscopic wrecking ball, shattering his chromosomes into unrecognizable fragments. His body completely lost the blueprint required to generate tissue. Over the next nearly 3 months, Oichi's body systematically fell apart. His skin stopped reproducing, leaving raw, open tissue that required constant skin grafts. His white blood cell count dropped to 0. He began losing fluids at a catastrophic rate. Throughout the ordeal, Oichi was kept alive by a medical team tracking the unprecedented effects of extreme radiation on the human body. At one point, Oichi managed to tell his doctors, "I can't take it anymore. I'm not a guinea pig." His heart stopped multiple times over those 83 days, but medical machines repeatedly forced his body back to life until his organs finally suffered a total systematic failure. It remains one of the most clinically horrifying drawn-out deaths ever recorded. If you liked the video, don't forget to press like right now. I post a video like this every single week, so if you like this type of content, don't forget to press subscribe too. Also, if you're curious what I do living here in Japan, I post a reel on my Instagram every single day, so please don't forget to check it out. There's also a link to my Patreon in the description, so if you feel like supporting me, just $1 is enough. Thanks for watching, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye.